Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time again for Channel T, featuring the magnetic charm and intellect of our young, handsome host. Who? We can't get him today? All right, well, we'll go with Tareq instead. Tareq, hey.
Woo! Thank you, Sir Paul, for the introduction.
Thank you for bringing your show in here. We're going to try something goofier and different than we've ever done here at OC Talk Radio. We're going to try and have fun. That's not something we usually associate with most of our deep dive business shows here today, but you're going to show us how to have fun today, right?
Not even that. We're going to show the amazing side to improving your quality of life. And, you know, we're not the only generation polluting our bodies. We're also another generation improving our bodies. And
wow, that's deep.
That's actually that's a good little quotable.
Yeah, right.
So that's the value we're bringing today, Paul. Not just laughs and goofiness.
Is the rest of the show going to be this good?
Yes, sir. Best believe it.
All right, okay. All right, well, I'll duck out. Introduce your guest. Who'd you bring with you?
Thank you, Sir Paul. Shout out OC Talk Radio for hosting us today. Welcome back to Channel T. And I'm really, really excited to have this individual here with me today. Honestly, I've rebooted Channel T a couple times this year, but, you know, I haven't found the rhythm. Thanks to OC Talk Radio, we made it happen. And who other than Mr. Zaid K Dahhaj to be my first guest. Thank you so much for coming today. He is a holistic men's health coach, and he's helped many, many individuals improve the quality of their life and their health, and get a sort of and establish a new routine to get them on the right track for the rest of their lives. Zaid, welcome to the show, sir.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's been a long time coming. You know, I've always wanted you on the show. I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah, it's been a good couple of years, huh?
Yes, sir. And I hope I introduced you correctly. What would you say, other than holistic men's health, that people can see you doing?
You could call me a podcaster if you want. I don't usually call myself that, but one of the co-hosts of the 2 a.m. podcast. I'm also an athlete, and I just think I really create my identity around learning as much as possible, mainly within the holistic health realm.
Beautiful. No, and that's how I've seen you make the most impact through your program, the 80-20 health program, or 80-20 coaching. What is it?
80-20 health system.
80-20 health system.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more about, let's get into that first. Let's get that out of the way, because I have so many questions for you, bro. I'm really excited to hear about this. What is the 80-20?
Sure. So really, I really love this idea of the 80-20 principle, also called the Pareto principle. It's this idea that within every domain of life, 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. So I've taken that principle and basically just applied it to holistic health. I focus on 5 to 7 of the most fundamental things within health, most fundamental pillars, and within those I focus on the most effective principles. So the idea around it is creating the most maximum benefit and results with the least amount of work, focusing on these principles. Whether it's sleep, supplementation, hydration, blood work, you name it, I cover it.
So like subtle actions creating long-lasting impacts for your health.
Exactly.
Wow, that's so interesting. And yeah, I did my research. You know, your website's beautiful, by the way.
Appreciate you.
Mobile version and desktop version. That's
gotta make sure
hard to find nowadays. Hard to find nowadays. And you know, one question I had is more so like, what started all of this for you? It seems that you have such an in-depth passion for just, like I keep repeating myself, improving quality of life, whether it be through these small actions or, you know, your diet. Give me a little more insight into like what got you started into this whole thing, and like how this made you into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So I've always built my personality around competitive soccer. I started playing at the age of 4, so I've always valued that sport specifically. I've enjoyed athletics at some of the highest levels possible. I've traveled to England, Costa Rica, Ireland to play soccer, to try to pursue the game professionally. Unfortunately, and fortunately, it didn't work out. It led me down this path. But really what set me straight, on this mission is my father's passing from heart disease. So he had 2 heart attacks within the span of a year. And that's really what allowed me to make this vow to focus on holistic health obsessively. And I really like that word, obsession, because that is exactly how I approach this game.
Allah yarhamu, bro. Bless his soul. That's crazy. That's, I mean, like the your start in soccer obviously got you into like, you know, I want my body to be at its peak all the time, and then a crazy life incident like truly sealed the deal. And wow, man, I relate to that a lot because I've been pretty physical my whole life. I always missed soccer tryouts, bro. I wish I got into. I have all the gear. I was on the mosque soccer team, but like that was like, you know, but my dad he's actually going through his third time with cancer right now. So that's why like I've been really appreciative of our relationship, or at least knowing you, like seeing everything you post, seeing all the content. Like I'm sure there's other people, you know, in the same realm as us, or like the same realm of, you know, some sort of traumatic accident happening, whether it's to them, their health, or their loved one's health. That piques interest, bro. People look up stuff, and you're one of the people providing substance and knowledge to people who need it. So
yeah,
shout out to you, man. Straight up, like there's not too many people like you in this world.
I appreciate that, brother. And really it's out of necessity, because the world, and really we're starting to see this globally, but within the United States, I believe around 70% of people have at least one chronic disease. So we are really at a critical point in terms of how we craft this relationship with our health. And if we don't have people who are obsessive about it and who do have the capability to educate people on it from a very simple perspective, then we're in deep trouble. So that's really why I take an obsessive perspective with this stuff.
Yeah, and kind of follow-up question. You look at America's health completely. I mean, it's like it's a business to get people sick and to get people filled with diseases and whatnot, chronic illnesses. What type, or what do you find that men our age, or like in our age range, like let's say like early 20s to like mid 30s, do you find that there's a lot of unhealthy men our age who can definitely use the help? Or is it kind of the 80-20 thing where it's not too major, it's just, you know, the slight, you put in a little more effort and it'll change a lot more for you?
I think that's definitely the case. I think with men within our age range, we're focused on the gym, we're focused on looking as good as we can for either women or just ourselves. So that's one big component, but really a lot of the people within our age range fail to go deeper. They don't focus on their sleep as much. They don't focus on how well hydrated they are, you know, the quality of the water that they're consuming, things of that nature. And so I think it does take a little bit of work to help young people understand this stuff, but because they have the leverage of time and youth, they're able to get even better results because they're so young. Whereas if you're like 40, 50, 60 years old and you're already dealing with a lot of these symptoms that we're talking about, you have a much tougher time around this stuff. But if you enact the right principles, then you'll be in a great position to hopefully live a long and high quality life.
And yeah, touching on that, like with my whole accident, man, like all the doctors were like, if you were 20 years older, you wouldn't recover from like any of this stuff.
Wow.
Like, you know, so great point. Like the younger or the sooner you start in your early ages, practicing good habits and establishing good, healthy routines, yeah, it's gonna avoid all the crazy stuff in the long run.
Yeah.
You know? And
the accident you went through was crazy.
Oh man, yeah, and you actually helped me through that, man. The bone marrow. Well, I was already on the bone marrow, but you telling me, I was like, all right, no, I need to double down on the bone marrow.
Yeah.
That actually, so all my viewers know I went through like a motorcycle accident. For anyone tuning in from Zaid or anyone else joining us today, I crashed on my motorcycle, flew off, had 5 surgeries in 4 weeks. Zaid hit me up and he's like, hey man, like I've broken bones before, bone marrow is the secret sauce. And sure enough, like that's what, like my doctors were tripping, bro. Like,
really?
How did you recover so fast? You know, and I met a guy who had the same exact collar arm injuries as me. He can't even lift his arm up.
And you really attribute that to like the bone marrow, bone broth?
Oh man, stuff? For sure. And then, you know, it ties down to, so my whole point of that is you really know your stuff, like your diet advice and nutritional advice. So on point, bro. But the bone marrow, and then you were telling me like omega-3s, like big. Sardines, fatty acids.
Massive. That's
what you need for recovery. That's what you need for gains as well.
Yeah.
You know? But no, definitely the bone marrow, my mom would make like I don't know if you know fette.
Fette. Shout out to mama, yeah.
Yeah, she'd make like fette out of it's like, I don't know what fette is in English. It's like rice with like broth and sesame paste, tahine, and out of the bone of the the ankle of the lamb or cow feet.
Yep.
You know, some crazy, man, the smell would be insane that she's cooking it. It wouldn't be the best eating it, but that food is a superfood, man. Like fetid, fetid legs, so insanely powerful for your body.
Yeah.
We're force feeding that to my dad right now. Dude, my dad, his body's going through some crazy stuff.
I'm sure.
He's been doing chemo since like August last year.
Yeah.
And your body's not meant to do chemo that long. And he's losing his white blood cell count. So like, that's where the bone marrow is coming in handy too, or like all the fetid with the bone stuff in there.
Yeah, any gelatinous type of food, like the bone broth, anything nose to tail, really, with high quality animals that are raised in the proper manner, that's really powerful for health. And you know, there are all these sorts of, you can call them hacks, but really principles and tactics that you can use depending on where you are in your health journey to heal yourself. So like an interesting thing that I came across when it comes to prolonged fasting, and I'm, you know, within the Islamic tradition, you enact Ramadan and fasting, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason every single tradition and religion has that implemented into their system. When it comes to cancer, I believe that a 3-day fast, a 72-hour fast, completely regenerates your immune system and actually makes you more resilient to chemotherapy.
Wow.
So it maintains the health of your healthy cells, and it's more effective at killing the cancerous cells. Is
it a fast like the Ramadan fast, or like no water, or you can drink water but just no food?
Mainly just only water.
Okay.
Yeah. So
only water for 72 hours.
Yep.
Wow.
And I've had a lot of fasting experimentation. I've done 96 hours at my longest. It's tough if you're not used to it, but the idea is to get, you know, to move forward with it progressively. So you start out with a 24, then maybe go to a 48, and then go on. Wow.
Now, do you like, I want to ask this question before I ask you the next one, because we're talking about fasting. The, like, what fasting does to your body, right? In the sense of that, in that sense, like promotes certain, whether certain chemicals to like rejuvenate or whatever, right? Now, if someone's trying to gain weight, like I've heard intermittent fasting, but I've heard some people go on crazy fast like that, and then the moment they're out of it, they literally absorb every single calorie, or like they absorb every single they get all the nutrition from their next meal, like everything. Is that what the whole point of it is, like to starve yourself so that your body absorbs more?
Generally, yes. I do have a problem with the idea of like prolonged fasting. I guess I have a problem with phrasing it as starving yourself, because this is something we adapted to over the course of hundreds of thousands of years. Evolutionarily speaking, we evolved to fast. So there's a reason why it's so powerful for our system. And when you go on a long fast, you're allowing your digestive system to relax, to regenerate. You actually regenerate the gut lining within your body. And so when you go back to food, if you do the refeeding properly, then you become more sensitive to the food. And then you can absorb all the minerals, vitamins, nutrients, and other cofactors that are associated with it.
Dang. And then I was going to ask, so from just like, I don't know if this is like, what's it called when like the doctors can't share the information about patients?
Sure.
Can you share success stories of like in regards to like maybe the craziest glow up that you've, you know, coached someone through?
Great question. I think one case pops into my mind, and it was towards the beginning of my health coaching. I started working with this, I believe he's a gentleman in his 40s, and he previously had thyroid cancer, so he had his thyroid completely removed. So one of the biggest problems with him was that he was struggling with like constant chronic fatigue. And because of all the changes that we made through his lifestyle, you know, sunlight, sleep, grounding, a lot of these other things, I've allowed him to get to a point where he has normal, consistent energy levels throughout his entire day, which is something that was really foreign to him.
Wow.
Prior to that experience. So I think it comes in many forms, whether it's the reduction of any fatigue symptoms, you have better digestion, you can perform better in the gym, you can spend more time with your family and you're actually present with them. Those are just a few things that stand out to me in terms of like actual benefits of following a proper lifestyle.
Wow. Do you turn people down when they come to coaching because it seems that, you know, they don't really need much help?
Yeah, for sure. I think you have to have some strong rules that you follow. So one of mine is that if you are on night shift If you work late throughout the night, like all the way into 4, 5, 6 in the morning, I can't really help you because sleep is really at the pinnacle. It's the keystone of health. And if I can't fix that for you, then a lot of the other changes we make are really just going to be like mute.
So because their sleep cycles, like they're sleeping when the sun is out.
Yeah.
Like that, like the whole plan. Okay, I see. So then you're saying it's like abysmal that the person is waking up to the sun, or at least waking up before the sun comes, like getting daylight as their day starts.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because we're diurnal creatures.
Yeah.
We evolved to be awake during the day and asleep during the night. And there's this field of study that not a lot of people think about called circadian biology.
Oh,
So
for sure, circadian rhythm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every cell and organ in your body operates off of a clock. And that clock is dictated by where the sun is in the sky. And that really plays a huge role in metabolism, sleep, mood, energy, absolutely everything.
I read something like if you want to reset your circadian rhythm, just stare into the sun in the morning. I've tried. Do you agree with that?
So
Did I ruin my eyesight, bro?
You can if you do it at the wrong times. So what you're referring to is sun gazing. So that's only when the sun, and you have about a 10 to 15 minute window within both sunrise and sunset. And that's when the sun brings out the most red light into your eyes. So that's actually beneficial for your eyesight. But again, if you do that at noon or you do that at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're done for. Your eyes are going to be done for.
I see. Okay, because I'm practicing that because my job, and I got so many questions for you, man. Like I've been trying to improve my sleep schedule, and that's why I've been staring into the sun in the mornings, bro. So let's get into this sleep schedule. You brought up red light.
Please.
And that's another thing I've actually talked to you about before. What is red light therapy and how has it affected you and your sleep and your daily routines?
Sure. Great question. So red light therapy essentially is just a technological replacement for the sun for people who aren't able to get access to sunlight. Like if you're in Oregon or if you're in, let's say, Nova Scotia, Alaska, or some other place like that, and you don't have access to the sun, red light therapy is a great replacement for that because it provides both red and near infrared light wavelengths to your body. And that specific spectrum of light is very healing to the body. So in terms of the benefits that I've experienced, I mean, better sleep, 100%. When I wake up with my eyes wide open. There's no grogginess whatsoever. And that's a big problem a lot of people struggle with.
Real quick, what's the regimen? Like an hour before sleep? Or you just put it on, it's just pointing at you while you're sleeping?
Yeah, so mainly like I'm just in boxers, just to paint a picture for the audience. Just in boxers, I make sure that the light is anywhere from 6 to 12 inches away. So kind of like where this mic is to my mouth. And about 10 to 15 minutes, both in the morning and both right before bed.
I thought it was like as you're sleeping that thing's just beaming on you. Okay.
No. You do it while you're awake, but it's like it's bookended into your day.
It's literally like okay, got you. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, I just had to.
No, you're good. Yeah, and so a lot of the benefits that I've gained from that are, of course, sleep. Energy is through the roof, and the way it does this is because it taps into your mitochondria and makes them more efficient. And so when you have that type of course, the mitochondria, they're the energy powerhouses of your body within the cell. So if you have more ATP, adenosine triphosphate, going through your body more efficiently, then your energy is just going to be through the roof. And then other things like skin, mood, I think is really good, especially when it's like really cloudy here.
Oh man, it's been gloomy in Orange County for how long now, bro? Since like
2.5 weeks.
It's been like 3 years now, it feels like.
For us, it's been 3 years.
And you brought up a good point, I keep saying that. You mentioned something to me when we were talking about the beach. I was telling him that I don't want to go to the beach, it's too cloudy. He's like, no man, still go, it's great for your body. Can you get into that? That kind of follows there's still red light seeping through, right?
Sure. There's actually even more red light seeping through when it's cloudy.
Wow.
Because the cloud cover blocks a certain spectrum of the wavelength from the sun. But in terms of the beach, I think that's probably one of my biggest practices that I have. So it really offers multiple things at one time. You have the grounding, you're connecting your bare feet onto a conductive natural earth surface. Then you have, of course, the sunlight, although if it's cloudy, you're not getting as much of that. You have the red light, And then you're around like the aerosolized ocean minerals. If you're getting into the water, you're getting an influx of minerals and other stuff. And so that's a really powerful practice that I've implemented within the past year, because I live right next to the beach.
Oh
so.
man, yeah, I'm big on the beach too, and those. So the ground does get into grounding. So I define it, but I'm sure you have a way better definition.
Mm-hmm.
What do you define as grounding?
Super simple. Just placing your bare feet onto either sand, wet sand, grass, or soil.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that is a natural earth surface that actually conducts an electromagnetic potential. And as a result, because the earth is negatively charged, the surface of the earth is negatively charged and the atmosphere is positively charged, you get an influx of electrons going through your body. And what that does, and we have scientific literature to back this up, is that it absolutely destroys chronic inflammation. It gives you more energy. It allows your mitochondria to be more efficient. And it just, you can feel it too. It's intuitive. You know, when you place your bare feet onto a natural earth surface, you feel amazing. And there's a real physiological and psychological effect going on there. So that's why it's so powerful.
Do you feel like one surface is better than another? I feel like the soil, like when I ground on soil, it's like a way different. At the beach, I don't want to say I don't feel it. I just love the beach. Maybe I'm just not thinking about it. I'm just always in a good mood, have high energy. But in the forest, like I've done it a couple of times, and like I genuinely feel the change. Like it's maybe because there's more like wildlife planted in the surface too. Like you're sharing, like the roots in the ground, or you know what I mean. Sand just has like.
No, that's real. I mean, forest bathing is something that's been studied in depth. I believe it's a Japanese practice originally, but I'd say either forest bathing, so placing your bare feet on the ground within the forest, or just wet sand. Like if you can get that cold water, because that's
like when the shore hits it.
Exactly, it's more like it's more energetically charged, let's say, and as a result, you get a higher boost in all of these things that I'm talking about.
Wow. Yeah, man, I love the beach. Like I literally go. I told myself when I moved out here, I'm gonna go every weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm probably like 70% successful. What other I'd say what other like quick men's health practices can somebody do other than like going on a stroll at the beach that can, you know, show some improvement in their daily life?
And by the way, this applies to not just men, but also women.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I keep saying that as well too.
Yeah, so I mean, these are fundamentals, but I like to focus on the men's health component because I am a man and I've worked with mostly men. I'd probably say taking a 15-minute brisk walk after every meal is fantastic for overall blood sugar. It reduces metabolic syndrome incredibly. I think really just going down to the fundamental of like going to bed at the right time as well. So like 9 to 10 p.m. is really powerful to see the most change within your health, because sleep is that powerful. And then outside of that, I think really focusing on the right supplementation, finding like a liposomal form of supplementation. I'm a big fan of a company called Symbiotica. I'm not affiliated with them, but if you can really tap into their products and use them consistently, it's absolutely mind-blowing what can happen with your health.
Wow. And for those of you who don't know, Zaid and our good friend Saeed have a podcast together called the 2 a.m. podcast. Dude, give us like a quick little intro into what you guys go about. Like, what do you guys talk about on the 2 a.m. podcast?
Yeah, well, literally everything. So we can talk about aliens, we can talk about politics, although that not so much because it's kind of, it's a hot topic.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately, I think we just like to have fun and just try to learn as much as possible and then educate people through our own system of learning. And really what I want to simulate is, those 2 a.m. conversations when you go on like a camping trip with your best friends? That kind of vibe.
I'm here for it, man. I've been there for it. I've seen the growth, and I want everybody to please check their... Imagine you're at 2 a.m. up with the bros, firing up some marshmallows on the campfire, and you're looking up at the stars, and any thought that comes to mind that's like, intriguing, that's what they talk about, literally.
And we want it to be relatable.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said that they feel like they're in the room with us, and that's exactly what we're going for.
And one thing I want to commend you guys on is the consistency. I was there from the beginning, or I'd say I helped you guys a little bit.
You were big time, bro.
To just get the ball rolling, and you guys have kept it consistent, bro. And to see where it's at now, I'm so happy, and it genuinely is amazing content, bro. And even Zaid's Twitter profile provides great content as well. Be sure you check him out at Zaid K Dahhaj.
You were there for like episode 20, dude. We still haven't even got you onto the podcast.
I
but
know.
we will soon.
I would love that, bro. I would love that.
But you were definitely around in the early days. I remember when we went to your old stew, and we were talking about, you know, what we could do with the podcast and all that, and it's really beautiful, you know, what consistency can do over time.
Yeah, man, and that's where, like, I haven't been able to be consistent, so I'm happy that, like, someone's doing it, bro.
And we all put each other on.
Oh yeah, man. No, for
Always.
sure, bro. For me, like, I'm trying to get back into this as much as I can, and I really appreciate you coming in today, bro. Anything you want to ask or anything you want to bring up before we close out today?
I guess I have a question for you. What do you feel like, since we are talking about health, what do you feel like your personal relationship with health has been like after that accident? Like, has anything in your mindset shifted?
Oh man, you know, and actually I'm happy you brought this up, because it was such a crazy wake up call. I mean, I'm not saying I've always been physically fit, and I've always I wouldn't say I've been like I was the healthiest, but I definitely took good care of my body. But almost dying, and then losing 50 pounds, being in the hospital for 11 days.
Yeah.
Literally learning. I wouldn't say I have a new relationship with health. I have a new relationship with my body. Like I'd say I wouldn't understand the body like a doctor would, but I have a good understanding of like mechanics, like not just mechanics, willpower. And I feel, aside from the bone broth and aside from like supplements and stuff, the next biggest thing to that is your mentality about your body.
It's probably just as big as sleep or any other fundamental.
You know, and so from the accident, man, I'd say definite shift of perspective on life in general, which led to me taking healthier actions. I mean, for me right now, bro, my priority is just gaining. Like I went from 180, like I was the biggest I ever have been, just on diet, no supplements, like protein shakes, but literally that's it. And I dropped down all the way to 128, bro.
It's crazy.
You know? So, yeah, biggest priority for me right now is just getting, well, at first it was the recovery of the physical therapy, like learning that if I tell my body, elbow out 90 degrees, shoulder up 50 degrees, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Learning that part was crazy, but I had to gain weight, man. Like I looked like I was like lost in the desert for 40 years, you know? So
Self-awareness is key.
definitely eating clean, getting the right supplements in, or getting the right supplements through nutrition. Like I love sardines, bro. I love that you love sardines. Everyone makes fun of me for that. So yeah, it was just mainly just picking up on my diet, and then realizing that if you don't have the right attitude about improving your quality of life, how many times did we say that today? You're not going to go anywhere, man.
Exactly.
And that's what helped me recover the fastest.
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's that. I appreciate you coming today, bro. Be sure to follow Zaid on every platform. I'm sure they're all the same, Zaid K Dahhaj, right?
Yep.
And check out their YouTube channel for the 2 a.m. podcast.
Can I ask you
Oh, yeah.
Let me jump in here and ask a question here.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
had somebody tweet in and wanted to know, how do we spell his name? I can't look him up because I don't know how to spell his name.
It's on Z-A-I-D,
Right?
and then middle initial K, last name D like dog, A-H-H-A-J.
Bingo.
And how do you say it? Dahhaj?
Dahhaj, yeah.
Dahhaj, okay. All right. I passed the test here today. So is there a website or anything that people can go to? Is there a...
ZaidKDahhaj.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be putting all the information in the bio as well when I post my video for,
Your notes and everything. Got it.
you know.
It's not hard to find me because I've put out such an obsessive amount of content.
And how
Yeah.
many people do you have following your podcast? You got a bunch of them.
Well, on Instagram we have around, I believe, almost 70,000.
What?
In terms of unique monthly listeners, I think we're around like 35 to 4,500 if we really pump out episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put all their links for the OC Talk Radio people tuning in. find Channel T, youtube.com/c/Channel T Media. And for all my viewers, you know where to go. I'll put all the information once I post this video, his links, where to find them, all the good stuff.
And follow this man too.
Oh man, yeah, and you stay tapped in.
And where do we do that? Give us some...
So we got Channel T, youtube.com/c/Channel T Media. I'll be also putting stuff up here, you know, all of our names and stuff. And you can follow me on Instagram at t.abu.z. And we're going to be doing this a lot more often. Thank you again to OC Talk Radio for hosting us and giving me the opportunity to relaunch my show. Thank you, Mr. Zaid, for coming on this show.
Been fun. Thank you, bro.
And let's live healthy lives.
Let's live healthy lives. And can I give you one comment? I usually would just cut it off right there.
Absolutely.
This wasn't silly at all. I thought this was going to be goofy. You were like, hey, bro, yo, and I thought this was going to be like you guys just talking trash or something, talking stuff.
We post wholesome content.
Yeah, you know, Zaid and I actually, we've hosted spaces on Twitter, like little discussion forums.
We need to do that more, by the way.
For sure. And shout out Aboud.
Shout out to Dr. Aboud.
Dr. Aboud. He wants to join us on a space for sure.
Bro, let's do it.
And we'll have an actual doctor to ask questions to,
exactly.
man. You know?
I think he works in Irvine too. I'm not sure.
Yeah. We were chatting something. He's OC or IE based.
Yeah.
Do you guys? You can't. You gotta look like you're 12 to me here. You cannot be that interested in your health at this. You're just trying to get out there and you know, puff up and pump up and portray yourselves as. I can't believe you're that interested in your long-term health.
You know,
Hats off to you.
one thing I was very shocked to learn about my health from. So I had 5 surgeries. One of them was a thoracic surgery. So I had a tube in my lungs. And number one thoracic surgeon in Southern California, he.
Mention his name here, so I'll give you a discount next time.
Oh my God!
We'll type it in. All right.
I forgot his name. But so I have a history of vaping, correct? You know, since 2012. He told me that my lungs are perfect.
Really?
Perfect.
Amazing, because vaping, you wonder what it does.
I'm actually shocked by that.
Perfect lungs, and I was shocked because my mom was in the room, and he came back with the results. He heard my lungs with a little stethoscope. And no, but you know what? Like, I was concerned about my health because of vaping.
Yeah.
But that kind of eliminated that. You shouldn't vape, though. I'm not condoning that. Don't vape. But
Don't
you know, we are worried about our health, Paul. Us young
came out with an
cats.
episode on vaping too.
But vaping's a perfect example where people, I'll worry about it tomorrow. As the great W.C. Fields said, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. And that's the way I feel at my end of the spectrum here.
Let me bust a quote out. If I can quote the great if I can quote the great Aubrey Graham, a.k.a. Drake, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know I
mean, doesn't get much better than Drake, does it?
Way up, I feel blessed. But that's
but that contradicts the whole thing. That says I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So let's make the party burn.
No,
burn the candle on both ends.
Yeah, but a good time isn't like bad health.
I never thought about my health when I was young.
Yeah.
The health is for something older, and now I wish I'd worried more about some of those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hats off to you guys. All right, final thoughts. We'll take you out here. Final words.
You know, I just appreciate being on here. I always love podcasting. I love being with you, Tareq, and I appreciate the studio here, and I really think it's a wonderful little place. So hopefully I'll be on soon, and we'll bring you onto the podcast.
We did all of this for you, sir. Bring out the girls, bring out the shirts. Congratulations, Zaid. No, man, thank you so much, and I want you back here as much as possible. Let's bring Saeed in here. Maybe we can do it in the other room as well.
Oh, we'll do it.
Work out our way to do it. 2 people, 3 people here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, tap in the links in the bio to keep up with Zaid, keep up with Channel T, keep up with OC Talk Radio. Much love. This has been Channel T, and it's a